listening to Unravel with Natalie Denise.
Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Wednesday, hump day. What's up, chat? Thanks for tuning into Nightly with Natalie. Hey, what's up, Alyssa? What's going on? Thanks for joining. Thanks guys for why is my camera doing this? I guess this is too hard on my hard drive. Hold on. Let me switch this. Okay, I guess I can use that. I was going to try to use my my broadcaster system, but I guess it doesn't want to do that, which is fine. We won't use it then. Okay, so we'll use this one. What's up, chat? Let's take a look again. Ever since that thing just rudely interrupted me. Let's see. We got Ken in the house. JB, what's up from Boston? Alyssa, what's up, Alyssa? Thanks so much for joining. Keem, thank you for modding for me. Mark from Santa Fe, what's up? Adonai, what's going on? Dank311, hey. What's going on, everybody? Ooh. We got a lot going on today, a lot going on. As a reminder, this Saturday will be the Save Texas Rally. I will be in Austin, Texas. That's savetexasrally.com, February 5th, Austin, Texas. It will be at the Capitol. So if you are in Houston, I'm not in Houston, in Texas. I'm from Houston. If you're in Texas and you can make it out, please do. This is a great event, grassroots movement. I highly encourage this. It's going to be good. Also, with that being said, I will not be broadcasting on Friday. So usually I'm Monday through Friday, but Friday because I'll be traveling to Austin, I will not be doing an Unravel. So prayers for my safety and all that. Oh, we got some more people. Luna, what's going on? Allison, what's going on? Iva J, what's going on? SaveTexasRally.com. Thank you so much, Kim, for putting that down there. Hey, what's up, Facebook, for those that are listening on Facebook, and then also those on audio podcast once this publishes out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to actually start this differently today because I've been a little better recently about being very consistent about meditating on the word. And I just thought, why not utilize my platform to kind of share my thoughts on what I've been meditating on and kind of give you guys, just that start to our podcast. So I think that this will be a good accountability system for me as well, because I've got to stay on this day and night, and lately I've been so consumed with work and drama and all of that consumed me when rather I should have just been focused, right? So this is what I've been focused on, the word. I started Psalm 1 yesterday. I did Psalm 2 and Psalm 3 today. And I thought that this was interesting, reading through this and kind of reflecting back on the world as we see it today and kind of stay relative to that. Whoops, let me switch it to this part. There we go, where you can see me a little bit fuller, not a tiny Natalie. Already tiny. I'm a little vertically challenged, but you know what I mean. All right, so Psalm 2, why did the nations conspire and the peoples plot in vain? And the kings of the earth rise up and the rulers band together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. So this part actually got me thinking. I'm like, wow, is that not us? How these governments our governments are basically saying we can save you, we can help you, believe in us or do as we say, rather than kind of superseding God's law, putting things against people's will, things like that. So that's what it makes me that. Where's my phone? Looking for my phone. It fell. Trying to control the air in here. So I was thinking about that today. How these governments, they try to act as if they are superior to everybody. So let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. But the one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. He rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have installed my king on Zion, my holy mountain. And of course, he is talking about Jesus, right? I will proclaim the Lord's decree. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask me. I will make the nations your inheritance. The ends of the earth will be your possession. You will break them with a rod of iron. You will dash them into pieces like pottery. Therefore, you kings will be wise, be warned, your rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and celebrate his rule in trembling. So he's kind of addressing, the word of God is addressing, look, not even your rulers can get away with what you're doing just because you have power. Just because you have power and authority over certain nations or states or whatever, we kind of put it in our cases like states right here in the United States, provinces in Canada, and then there forward wherever you are in the world. But basically, he's saying you leaders, world leaders, whether you're presidents, kings, parliamentary leaders, whatever you are, be wise and rule with fear of the Lord, because if not, you can be stricken down. Serve the Lord with fear and celebrate his rule with trembling. Kiss his son or he will be angry, and your way will lead to your destruction. And how do we not see that that's going on in our current day, right? Because what have we seen lately? We've seen a lot of Biden family things going on, a lot of things that are revelations, some China ties that we've all speculated on due to some things of the laptop and all these things. I'm just giving out examples here, but these people have become so haughty in their leadership. They've become these rulers, and they've been wanting to deploy out these rules on us, but they get caught up in their own devices. They don't even know that they're on their destruction. So he's saying he'd be angry, and your way will lead to your destruction. For his wrath can flare up in a moment. Blessed are those who take refuge in him. And that reminds me of Psalm 91, where Psalm 91 talks about taking refuge in the Lord. And basically, if you declare him your most high, you put him first, then you are given that inheritance to seek shelter in his wings and seek shelter. And it says in Psalm 91 that if you take refuge in the Lord, then there's this mighty prayer of protection over you. And if you read through Psalm 91, it goes through some mighty prayer protection. I'm sorry, it's a mighty prayer of protection. And it kind of mentions it in its own little theme and element here in Psalm 3. It says, in the Psalm of David, he fled from his son Absalom. And so this is Psalm 3. Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? How many are saying of me, God will not deliver him? And this happens also, with people who are haughty and who are so arrogant in their ways. They're like, oh, the Lord's not gonna save you. Or they'll even go blasphemous, and they'll say that they're Christian, and they'll say, oh, you're not Christian, God's on my side, and he's not going to come save you. Actually, we're declaring vengeance on you on the behalf of God. Believe it or not, I have seen it in my own respect recent day. And I just stand on the Lord, on the word of God. And I just stand because I'm like, I don't have to fight back in these lies or slanders or anything like that, because these people are going to be their own destruction. So if you have enemies out there who slander you, lie on you, they're putting out all these mischaracterizations of you, they're going to continue to do so. You seek shelter in the Lord. It says, Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying in their arrogance. I'm gonna just say in their arrogance, because a lot of people that do this, they're arrogant. They don't think much of God, or that God's gonna come save that person who's being slandered falsely. It says God will not deliver him, but you, Lord, says David, but you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. I lie down, and I just want to mention here where it says shield. Also in Psalm 91, mentions that the Lord's faithfulness is our shield and rampart. So this goes hand in hand. When you cross-reference scripture like this is why I believe the word so much, because it comes from different time frames and eras, but then it can become a parallel, adjacent, coexistent, and it all points to the same thing. It says, but you, Lord, are the shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts up my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear, though tens of thousands assail me on every side. And that's also a theme from Psalm 91, where it says, a thousand will find, what is it? A thousand will fall on my left hand, 10,000 on my right. So thousands, basically in Psalm 91, it's describing that thousands of people are falling at either side of their hands, but yet that one person who declares in the Lord is still standing. So it says, lie down and sleep. I will wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear, though tens of thousands assail me on every side. Arise, Lord, deliver me, my God. Strike all my enemies on the jaw. See, David here is getting a little bit violent. He's like, punch, like square him in the jaw, Lord. Like these people out of my hair. So like this even kind of describes a little bit of like the humanistic characteristic, like the characters of the Bible, right? Because like we always think like trusting Jesus and all these things, like this khaki wearing, polo wearing, type of culture where it's like you have to be super super perfect and you have to be preppy and all these things. But the thing is, like, people are human, and here he's saying strike them in the jaw, like punch them in the throat. It's like almost the same thing, like strike my enemies in the jaw, break the teeth of the wicked. He's even going more violent. He said, break the teeth of the wicked, for my Lord comes deliverance, may you blessing be on your people. Dude, I just like the way that David kind of gets all violent. He's like, okay, blessings. He's like, strike all my enemies on the jaw, break the teeth of the wicked. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. I just love it. He's like, I choose violence today, but also blessings. It's, I don't know. It's like, some of the, you just can kind of detail some characteristics from the Bible, some humanistic, human characteristics in the Bible. I think it's funny. Alyssa Vega says, whoever sows injustice will reap calamity and the rod of his fury will fail. Proverbs 22:8. That was mine today. Oh, girl, come on with it. Come on with it. Yes, I love them. And then she says, curb stop. She says, curb stop him, Father. That's basically what David was saying, bro. Like, I'm not even kidding. You just read the word with me. He said, look, I didn't say this. This is what David said. He said, arise, Lord, deliver me, my God. Strike my enemies on the jaw, break the teeth of curb stop him, Lord. Curb stop him. Look, I'm just saying, Lord, I don't know. Kick him in the shin, Jackie says. That's what this word says. So that's that's why I love the word. And I just thought that I want to starting out with the word, maybe at least one like scripture or a group of scriptures every podcast. So anyway, that's what I've been meditating on. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. So pivoting on Canada. You guys know what's going on in Canada right now. The trucker convoy, the Freedom Convoy, is still alongside the border in Ottawa. They are blocking the border on the request that the government hear the people, that, hey, we have political demands. We want freedom. We want to be able to choose whatever, is best for us. And, right now we're not really to a solution. We're still kind of en route to, their demands, the truckers and the people, that is the protesters. And you've seen different things coming out of Trudeau. First of all, Trudeau he fled and left. He blamed Coco, or he fled first and then he declared, oh, I have Coco. I have the Coco. Sorry. I tested positive and I'm gonna, quarantine over here in my hiding place, his little safe space or whatever. And then he also tweeted out, that, oh, Parliament has declared that we stand against racism, transphobia, like literally it has nothing to do with the convoy. He said, oh, we're declaring against people who are racist, transphobic, xenophobic, like all the phobias that had nothing to do with the Freedom Convoy at all. In fact, I even saw today there was a video of I believe It was like an Indian tribe that were out in Ottawa blessing, I guess blessing in their whatever they were doing, blessing over the truckers and the convoy. So things you'll never see because the mainstream media in Canada are straight up lying on these people. So now you guys heard of the Russia hoax and the blue anon conspiracy theories that our mainstream media in the United States like to portray, right? Well, now Canada is spreading their own blue anon theories here. Canada State Broadcaster spreads bizarre conspiracy theory that Russian actors are behind the 50,000 strong freedom convoy of truckers protesting Castro's poke in the arm mandate. Police threatened to arrest truckers blockading the U.S. border in Alberta. And I think regardless, they're going to stay there, regardless if they're arrested or not. But pray for these people. Canada State Broadcaster, Canadian Broadcasting Company, is spreading a bizarre, unfounded conspiracy theory that Russian actors are behind the Freedom Convoy trucker. Bless me. Behind the Freedom Convoy trucker poke in the arm mandate protest currently being held in Ottawa at the U.S. border. During the broadcast Friday on CBC, which is funded by the Canadian government, anchor Neil Coxall offered Parliament member Marco Mendicino the theory, citing the country's current relationship with the Ukraine, former Soviet nation currently at odds with Russia, as evidence. Given Canada's support of Ukraine in its current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, Coxall said to Mendicino, the county's Minister of the Public Safety, during the Friday interview, but it is that there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, perhaps even instigating it from the outset. I mean, come on. So protests began in Ottawa last month. Trudeau has refused to meet with the group, and I've told you what he said about them. And he's even gone on camera to say that, he's been to protests before, that, going to the Summer of Love protest, as you guys remember what was it, last year or was it 2 years ago? I can't even remember. It was 2 years ago when the Summer of Love was burning down cities, in the name of justice and all these things. And, he's saying, those protests, like, those are the protests I'll go to, but I won't meet with these people. On Tuesday, after 4 days of protest, police threatened to arrest the truckers. Continued on. This is just the convoy, some photos of the convoy here. Ooh, Canada is cold. I've been to Canada in January before. It is cold. Alberta Freedom. I know it's February now. Just look at these pictures. Media is the virus. All right, so here is the little news clip. Take a listen.
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Well, again, I'm going to defer to our partners in the public safety, the trained officials and experts in that area.
So, I mean, I'm just gonna say that, these are, just like so casual. I'm just gonna say that, this was Russian actors or whatever. Sorry, I'm just looking here that actually YouTube just said that one of my last night's podcast, CBS claimed copyright. Video cannot be seen. Oh, okay. Well, if you guys are wondering what happened to that video on YouTube, they're saying that I can't, that people can't see it now because CBS apparently claimed copyright on it. Of course. I'll try to repost it. Anyway. Okay. During Tuesday's interview, Mendicino seemed to deflect Coxall's incredulous question. I'm going to defer to our partners in the public safety of trained officials and experts in that area. Pretty smart, because don't go along with the conspiracy theory that has no basis. So Kochsal's comments quickly set off a storm of backlash on social media, with users criticizing the longtime CBC fixture for offering an unfounded theory based entirely on speculation. This is one tweet saying, "Journalistic malpractice. This movement is just about journalistic malpractice. This movement is just as much about that as anything else. We wouldn't be here if they didn't do their jobs." The next comment saying, "When in doubt, blame the ever elusive Russian actors. Liberals have one beat: Russia, Russia, Russia." That's what Buzz Patterson says. And then continued on, another comment says, "The media in Canada clearly now have more freedom or wish to report truthfully as the media in China. Laughable story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stupid do they think we are?" Continued on. So these are just some backlash. So Disclosed TV reported this tweet has now been deleted. This is the tweet here. Matthew Fleury commented on Twitter, "This morning I have asked the city manager and city solicitor to immediately launch court proceedings targeting the millions of dollars in funds frozen by GoFundMe so Ottawa taxpayers are not left holding the bag of these protests." I don't know what that means. The strange speculation offered by Kochsal, who is paid by the state, comes as Canadian elected official in Ottawa reportedly deleted a tweet that outlined a plan to seize funds raised for truckers through GoFundMe, which surpassed $10 million on Wednesday, or Canadian dollars, pictured as a tweet in question. What a piece of, you know what? Like, trying to seize the funds so that way they won't eat and have like their needs provided for. So anyway, yes. So Russia, Russia, Russia in Canada as well. They're saying that this whole convoy is based on Russia. Let's read some of your comments. Luma says, "The truckers do need to keep supplies going though, or else they're going to do the government's work ahead of schedule for him." That's a complicated truth. Pat King said that they are in it for a long run. Let's see what else. Trudeau said they are stealing food from the homeless. What the heck? And Ken says, "Lies, lies, lies. That's how the mainstream news rolls." Of course. Of course. All right. So continued on. I just published a video on my main YouTube, youtube.com/Natalie Denise, where I went through the whole tea of the Jeff Zucker CEO stepping down. Trump actually tore into him. And I wanted to mention this because you can see here, Trump is seated very cozy with Jeff Zucker back in 2008. But I also wanted to mention this because, people have these perceptions just because of photos, maybe they're from people's past, or just because they're photographed with them, that, they automatically conflate them to being, this sort of bad actor or whatever. But, and a lot of people have done that with Trump and Epstein's relationship. And I know that this is a tangent, but I'm just saying, you can see him very cozy with Jeff Zucker here, but apparently he has ripped him a new one in a since posted statement. He posted the statement today. "Jeff Zucker, a world-class sleazebag who has headed ratings and Real News Challenge CNN for far too long, has been terminated for numerous reasons, but predominantly because CNN has lost its way with viewers and everybody else, Now is a chance to put fake news in the backseat because there are maybe not anything more important than straightening out the horrendous lamestream media in our country. And in the case of CNN throughout the world, Jeff Zucker is gone. Congratulations to all." The way his humor is hilarious, Trump. So if you guys didn't know, Jeff Zucker, see, here he goes. Here he goes real cozy with Melania and Jeff Zucker. So, things change. So let's not conflate everything just because of past photos or videos. So anyway, if you guys didn't hear, Jeff Zucker actually, he was stepping down as CEO because it was found out through some tea spilt by Chris Cuomo that Jeff Zucker was having an affair with Allison. I think her name is Golust, Allison Golust, who is also a CNN staffer. She's like a publicist or something. And So anyway, there's more tea to that. It's on my main YouTube channel. You guys can are more than welcome to go watch that. But yeah, there's a lot of tea. A lot of people are also now calling for the firing of Brian Stelter. That's right. CNN's just and they're imploding on themselves. They just continue on. Ever since the onset of all of these scandalous, salacious things that are being unveiled, first of all, I expressed this in my video. My thing is like, you guys had full on pedo fifis on your, in your staff. Your top producers are number one of them is indicted for being an abuser, a child abuser, enticing mothers to bring their children to him so he can train them and groom them. And so disgusting that. And then there's currently a high level producer still working at CNN. And, that should be the whole story. We should be making headlines about that. We made headlines and then it just got swept under the rug. But this seems to be, the big scandal is this affair. And I'm not saying that it's not a scandal. It obviously is. But the thing is, like, I just feel like there are bigger things that are like, yo, look at this is the bigger elephant in the room. You have full-on producers of a national network over here diddling children. Like, and that's not big news. We're not still talking about that. Anyway, sorry, rant. But anyway, coming back to it, Brian Stelter, they're calling for him to be fired. Attention, excuse me. Attention turns to CNN anchor following Jeff Zucker's ousting for his failure to report on the open secret affair while bashing other news networks. Media critics are calling for Brian Stelter to be fired after failing to report the open secret affair between top boss Jeff Zucker and staffer Allison Golust. The network needs to step up and fire Brian Stelter, a CNN insider tells dailymail.com. And a lot of people from CNN are spilling tea on each other. They are literally self-imploding because they're talking to Daily Mail, they're talking to New York Post, they're talking to Politico. These CNN staffers are in I'm sorry, what's the word? They are angered. And so I really feel like they're going to start outing other people because they're so, like, I guess, agitated at each other. So maybe this is the onset to more tea spilling within the CNN swamp. So an insider in CNN says he allegedly is our top media reporter, yet he failed to report on the scoop that everyone in the office knew, and he wants to say he didn't know. He's truly terrible at his job. Thank you for barely realizing it, but we've been realizing it for the past few years, guys. Like, duh. Of course he doesn't tell the truth. Like, this is what we've had to endure for the past few years. Stelter is a chief media correspondent for CNN and the host of the CNN Reliable Sources. In a statement on Wednesday, Zucker said he was stepping down. And, it's all due to the affair. And you guys can see him here. Here's a Jeff Zucker. Ooh, Don Lemon. Where is this? Open secret Billy Joel concert at Madison Square Garden on November 5th. Uh-oh. There's Don Lemon. Who else? Who else is in here? But anyway, and they're maskless. And they're maskless. Wait a minute, what's going on here? All right. A cable news veteran who wishes to not be named spoke of the close relationship between Stelter and Zucker. Brian Stelter should be calling his agent to start looking for a new job, they said. He's been Jeff Zucker's water boy for years, and no one believes that he didn't know about all of this. The source added that Stelter often criticizes competing networks like Fox News. He's been sitting on his moral high horse doing Jeff's bidding and ripping Fox and every other media outlet that Jeff tells him to while his ratings crash and burn. Where was he on the biggest story of his own network after chastising everybody else? Since taking the helm in 2013, CNN has reportedly not seen any ratings improvements, losing audience share, independent viewers, and ratings throughout Zucker's tenure. CNN is delivering the largest declines in cable news this month, down roughly 80% in primetime and total day across the board. And they reached out to Zucker. I'm going to imagine that he never did. So, anyway, I mean, thanks for realizing it like 1,000 years later. You know what I mean? Oh, Keem put up the lobsters. If you're going to snip snap, put up the lobsters. Snip snap at this news story. I hope they do throw each other under the bus, because there's a lot more to the, I mean, it's like, okay, there's an affair and that's bad, right? Like that's a bad thing. But the thing is, there's a lot more happening. For instance, a producer still working at CNN while it was found out that he was soliciting really nefarious content of a child or fantasizing about a child, still at CNN. But that's not a news story. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that they do come out and throw each other under the bus. Let's see. What else do you guys have to say about this? Yeah, Ken says CNN needs to hire a lot of pedophiles. Yep. They are snatching each other's wigs, Ken said. I understand. I agree. Crabs in a bucket. Here at this channel, we put lobsters for snip snap them. All right. Continued on. Let's go ahead and pivot to the daily traffic, where I bring you guys the latest in human and sex trafficking news. Now, I'm actually going to start off with this story because this is what I left off with yesterday. Remember yesterday in yesterday's broadcast or podcast, whatever, vodcast, I talked about this. I can't stand these media outlets that like proclaim something is a conspiracy theory when they don't even know like the quantifiable elements of a problem. So here, this outlet here, who is this? This is 10 Tampa Bay, but this is actually, where is this originating from? This has to originate something more, because I don't think I just saw it on this outlet. But anyway, there's a story circulating here, and I guess it's getting regurgitated from these media outlets, that no, the Super Bowl is not the largest sex trafficking event. Okay, like, how do you know? How do you quantify this when all of this is going on under the table? You know? So this is what they have to say. So this is more of a criticism of this particular article, because it really irks me when media outlets do that and they have no idea what they're talking about. So let's see what they have to say. When the nation's biggest sporting event returned to Tampa in 2021, law enforcement launched an all-out blitz. Ahead of Super Bowl that year, authorities cracked down with amped-up campaigns and organized stings, warning an annual event was one of the largest magnets for sex trafficking. This response wasn't unique to Tampa. Headlines in host cities for years have sounded the alarm about the proliferation of sex trafficking during the Super Bowl. During the Super Bowl in Miami of 2020, Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody said, "We know the Super Bowl will increase this activity, the sex trafficking. Others have suggested the big game is the biggest sex trafficking magnet." Dr. Willie Montague, Representative Montague, the Super Bowl is the biggest sex trafficking magnet. Guess where the Super Bowl this year? The state where is ranked number 3 in the country for human trafficking. What we found. This is how they're trying to debunk it. What we found, human trafficking is an estimated to generate $150 billion this year in profits globally, with more than 20 million people are being trafficked, according to the International Labor Organization. Okay, first of all, let's just this already is a conspiracy theory, okay? Not necessarily a malicious one. It's just that this statistic is so outdated. $150 billion a year worldwide, okay? I beg to differ, and I think that that's such a BS statistic that has remained the same since 2015, 2016. I would argue it's way more than $150 billion. Why? Because number one, we cannot quantify dark money that goes paid through different means, whether through cash, where it's an undetected, whether it's through, different little nefarious ways that they can hide the money. So how do we really quantify that as $150 billion a year? Also, if you really quantify the things that can be calculated, like for instance, if you can calculate how many customers go to an illicit business, like a spa, for instance, you can actually quantify something, right? Because you have an illustration, you have an average. So let's say there's like an average of, let's say 10 to 15 Johns per spa per day, and then they charge a door fee, and then they charge the transaction fee. And so that's kind of like, these are some quantifiable scenarios, but it is not concrete and is definitely not holistic. So if you take stuff like that as an example, you're only taking quantifiable scenarios like a spa, where you can actually, again, visualize, wrong word, you can actually illustrate the door fee, the amount of customers average per day, the transaction fee, and then how many workers to that spa. But then you don't quantify the street prostitution. You don't quantify the dark web streaming that, these sick predators pay a fee to obtain. You don't quantify there's just so much more that you can quantify appended to this figure, that it's impossible to do that. So 150, I'm sorry, I just have to rant on this figure because I'm so sick of seeing it, right? So for whatever reason, the industry has been touting $150 billion worldwide per year, and it's just so unrealistic to me. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I just had to rail on that. Sexual exploitation is a serious and ongoing issue. The research just doesn't really support the idea that sex trafficking is a huge spike during the Super Bowl, said Reed, who leads a research lab in UCF's St. Petersburg campus devoted to studying human trafficking. Reed said that he reviewed hundreds of case files where in the 15 years she has studied trafficking, none, she said, have ever referenced or mentioned the Super Bowl or any large event. Oh my gosh. Like, honestly, like this to me, like, I don't understand, because these files don't mention Super Bowl. This is your reasoning for touting that the Super Bowl is not a huge spike in human trafficking activity, because the case files don't say Super Bowl in it. Like, think about this. Just think about this. Think about the trafficker, the pimp. They rent out the hotel rooms. They send the escorts to, to go do their thing. They probably have like delivery service. So the prostitute will go out to the place or whatever, or they'll get picked up on the street or whatever. Who's gonna say, oh, it's the Super Bowl, that's why I did this, it's the Super Bowl, and so I'm doing a Super Bowl special of trafficking out, pimping out these girls? Who's gonna say that? No, a police report is gonna say this aged, whatever, X-aged female was arrested, or this John was arrested on the corner of ABC Street, at 7 p.m. for soliciting sex from a 21-year-old female. They're not. I can't believe I have to explain this. What makes everybody think that they're gonna say, oh, I'm here for the Super Bowl, let's just this is my special? Like, nobody's gonna go and say that. Wow. I mean, it's amazing. Hi, Kevin. Thanks. So nice to see you. Kevin says, I'm an advocate for boys. Oh, God bless you, because nobody talks about the boys being exploited ever. It's, and I'm glad that there's resources out there for the females and the girls and out there, but there's absolutely nothing for boys. So thank you so much for being an advocate. Volunteer for Operation Underground Railroad. Nice to find a live show on the topic of human trafficking. Well, thank you. Welcome, Kevin. We do cover mainstream news first half, and then the rest of the half, it's just devoted to the Daily Traffic. Actually, I need to put my logo up, the Daily Traffic. I'm also on Instagram, where I devote my podcast to human trafficking news. So let's get back on topic then now. So how are we going to say that that the Super Bowl does not have based sex trafficking or pimping out? I don't understand how this works, because the trafficker and the pimp are not going to outright say, oh, hey, we're here for Super Bowl and we're trafficking out for Super Bowl. This is what we're doing. That's not what they're going to say. I mean, I can't believe I have to explain this. So it says there's no empirical evidence that trafficking for prostitution increases around the large sporting events, concluded a report published in 2011 by Global Alliance Against Trafficking Women, a network of non-governmental NGOs organizations. The organized crime studied crime records surrounding the Super Bowl, World Cup, and Olympics. The report noted its findings despite massive media attention, law enforcement measures, and efforts by prosecution of abolitionist groups. More recently, in 2019, examining 55 scholarly articles on big sporting events like the Super Bowl and sex trafficking ranks also found little evidence of a direct link. Online ads for sex work tend to increase around large events, the report noted, but it doesn't correlate with the increase of trafficking. How? Oh my God. I honestly cannot believe that I'm reading this, and I'm probably going to stop reading this article in anger and frustration over what they're claiming, because it's irresponsible to say, oh, well, we did see more ads around the internet for prostitution around these event times, but there's no concrete evidence that it's sex trafficking. Get your head out of the sand. What are you talking about? Of course there's a correlation. And what are they? These people don't form a ledger, right? They don't form books on accounting for sex trafficking and pimping out. Is that what you want? You want an accreditation somehow, a ledger, something concrete? Here you go. Here are my ledgers, all my books, all my accounting books for sex trafficking during the Super Bowl. Yes, I trafficked out, pimped out in the Super Bowl. Here you go, law enforcement. That's not what they're going to do. This is a dark industry. This stuff gets sold on dark web, on the Craigslist, on the back pages of the world. What makes you think that this is going to produce a concrete evidence that they are trafficking these people out? They do it in secret. My goodness. They say online ads are a substitute measure for trafficking and should not be understood as the same thing, the report states. It's totally not. This is not true. This is totally not true. Online ads are a substitute measure for trafficking and should not be understood as the same thing. The idea that the Super Bowl or any other large sporting event drives a surge for demand for sex because men flush with cash and testosterone flood into a city doesn't jibe with what researchers know about sex buyers, according to Reed. They say trust the science. You guys see, like, they try to make this a scientific effort, according to our researchers, and these things like this. An estimated 2 to 5% of the male population will ever buy sex, Reed said, and a majority are prolific buyers. So if you know that's true, they're buying sex throughout the year, then they focus on the Super Bowl isn't really going to have an impact that you want, she said. After Super Bowl in Tampa, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of 75 people accused of either trying to buy or sell sex. That's pretty much, this is a big spike in arrests for Super Bowl. So what are you talking about? 3 were charged with trafficking. Hundreds of people nationwide have been rounded up with accusations of trying to pay for sell sex surrounding previous Super Bowls. But Reed says it's due to heightened scrutiny and attention often can wind up targeting sex workers, not necessarily trafficking. So this is the danger of people trying to advocate for sex work as real work. It's absolutely dangerous because you can conflate they're willing to do this with people who are actually forced against their will and trauma bonded to do this. Okay, so they're trying to conflate different factors in law enforcement and criminal classifications, and trying to conflate. They're trying to just conflate this into a big mesh, and this is so irresponsible. This is. I'm not going to read through the rest because it's already angering me that much. Just saying this false thing that Super Bowl is not the largest sex trafficking event, sporting events, what have you. There has been an increase on sexual exploitation crimes. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is not a falsity. This is true things that are happening, and more sexual exploitation, assault incidents are happening every single day because the world is growing more sick. So how dare you put out this report saying, oh, we didn't have like concrete numbers. And so, and then the pimp didn't say that it was sex trafficking or whatever. These police people are not going to report that. John Doe was soliciting sex from Jane Doe, or really, let's say Jane Smith at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. on ABC Street, paid this amount of money. The police officer is not going to form a police report saying, due to Super Bowl, No, they're focused on what's going on in front of them. My goodness. I'm sorry. I had to rant, but this just absolutely aggravates me. Oh my goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Kevin says, I live in the worst hub of human trafficking in the country, North Bay, Ontario. I've gotten to know this topic very well. Yes, North Bay, Ontario, also Saskatoon. You know, there's a corridor around Canada, around Saskatoon. Really bad. Sophia says, I seriously can't believe trafficking has become politicized. I understand. Yeah, I know. And it's next. You know, there's going to be hate speech that's crafted over sex trafficking and sex work and what you can say, what you can't say, you know, all these things. It's crazy. Let's pivot on. Okay. This next story is coming from WTVM. That is Louisiana. A nurse practitioner in Louisiana is arrested for human trafficking narcotics charges. All right. Nurse practitioner in Louisiana has been arrested for human trafficking and narcotics charges, according to the Rapids Parish Sheriff's Office. KALB reports the Rapids Area Drug Enforcement Unit received complaints about a medical provider who is allegedly providing narcotics in exchange for sexual favors. RADE agents said that they later discovered Mark Damien Duclay Jr. would allegedly solicit men with cash. There you go. See, this is one of the rare stories we actually get to that ever describe male victims. He was soliciting men with cash to locate and provide females. Oh, I'm sorry. I read too soon. I commented too soon. To locate and provide females for sexual purposes. Duclay was a psychiatric nurse practitioner, which is sick. So he was preying on their mental vulnerabilities, you know, somehow. Because he knows what to look out for, and I'm pretty sure he did advise these men on what to look out for. Authorities said they found suboxone films, fentanyl, and methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia in his home. Our agents, through their investigation, believe that there may be more victims of this suspect out there and that we're encouraging them to come forward, said Sheriff Mark Wood. Nothing is more disturbing than someone of authority victimizing someone in need. Exactly. So this is a nurse practitioner, psychiatric unit, and preying on people who obviously will have vulnerabilities. Or actually, these men are, in essence, you know, they became prey at one point because he manipulated them to do this. Although they did do the bad act of giving him the girls, you know. All right. Next story coming from CBC. This is in Canada. Man charged with 4 human trafficking related offenses in London, Canada. I think this is the Ontario province. Police have laid 4 human trafficking charges against Hamilton man for alleged offenses that took place in London, Ontario last year. In a statement, the police said that a 26-year-old man lured a female victim through a job posting in online early 2019. According to the police, this led to an exploitive relationship where the victim was forced to have sex for money and others by the accused. The alleged incidents took place between March and July of 2019 and April and September of 2020. The victim came forward to police this past weekend. The accused is charged with advertising other person's sexual services, procuring or recruit a person to provide sexual services, materially benefiting from sexual services of another person, and obtaining sexual services for consideration. The accused was already in custody for unrelated charges. Police are asking anybody with information about this case. This is again Canada, a Canadian area. Please call 519-661-5670 or 1-800-222-8477. All right. With that being said, so much going on. Thank you all for watching this. Thank you for always supporting me. I really appreciate all of your support. And we will be back tomorrow. And as a reminder, I'm usually Monday through Friday, but because I will be traveling on Friday, I will not be having a podcast on Friday. So I'll be back after tomorrow. I'm doing tomorrow, and then I'll be back Monday. So with that being said, thanks so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and also rating the podcast 5 stars. If you're listening to this on podcast, I really appreciate it. I will catch you guys tomorrow. And again, thank you so much for your blessings and your well wishes on me. Hey, Erica, thank you so much for trying my palette or my makeup. Thank you so much for that. I saw that comment. For those of you, I am sold out as of right now, but there is more stock on the way. Erica Goodwin says, love Natalie's makeup palette. Thank you so much. I love it too, because I wear it every single day and it's really good quality. Thank you so much for that. So more stock is coming on the way. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natalie Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.